Jay with the yak.
Arr! Say
What's
what?
his What's his hat? Is it yak? I'm
The
loving it.
Yak. You ever seen the Yak Barstool show?
Yes, I have.
It's the
Nice.
best, man.
Some
Yeah, they did
official
this.
merch.
I've had this hat for a while. They did this basketball thing called Yak basketball. They would just do it randomly. Um, and it's basically what it is every man for themselves. It's like the whole Yak cast, and then so you just go and they tip off, and then you go and when you score a hoop, you're out. And it's just every man for themselves. It's just total chaos. They called it Yak Basketball. It's great. You should go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, you just don't want to
But
be the
yeah,
last man standing.
Yak Basketball, baby.
Shout
Yeah,
out
pretty
yak.
much. And none of them have any basketball skill. It's just hilarious.
Shout
How
out
you
yak
doing,
barstool.
Drew? How's your week been, brother?
It's been awesome, man. Just got to go out to a new disc golf course here today. Got a meal of the week that I just had. I knew it was going to be a banger. So, I
Sweet.
don't, you want me to spill it now or spill it later?
Yeah, let's just jump right the fuck in, man. Let's just
Yeah.
jump into meal of the week. Yeah, go ahead. What you have yourself today?
Oh my God. Old Chicago pizza. I don't know if you've ever been there, Jay. It's a Chicago style, deep pan style pizza.
Uh-huh.
And Masha got a meat and veggie one. I got like an all meat one. Had sprinkle in some dry rub wings. They were cooked to
Wow.
perfection. A tall beer.
Oh, baby.
It's hard to beat
That
all
is
that.
meal of the week material.
Yeah.
Right on. How was the marinara sauce?
It was really good. That's why I like those thicker styles of pizza because they don't short you on the marinara. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
thick amount in there, a good
good.
layer of it, and a thick bread, really crispy undercarriage on the crust, and a
Ooh,
lot of
baby.
cheese as well.
Is Portnoy approved?
Portnoy would approve. My favorite thing about the pan style is basically like the cheese will spill over almost, but since it's in a pan, it crisps up the side of the pizza.
Uh-huh.
So you bite into like a crispy cheese that's been
That's
seared on
beautiful.
the side. Oh yeah,
That's just beautiful, Drew. Happy for you. Happy for Mosh. Mosh enjoyed it too.
she loved it.
Right on. Yeah, man. I myself don't have meal of the week. I've been under the weather this week. I had to take Tuesday off. Was not feeling good. Um, hey, I need to go help my parents bring in groceries. My
Yeah,
mom,
go for it.
it's Mother's Day. I need to do that. If you want to
Go for
just,
it.
I can still talk though.
All right, sounds good. So you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm going out to the garage right now.
Do you want me to jump into top 10 and I'll
No, no,
just.
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we will. But I just wanted to say real quick, I don't have meal of the week, Drew. I was sick all week, so I just kind of, and I don't have much taste. That's the thing. That's the thing that really sucks about being sick is you can't taste any food. At least when I get my allergies get and I get congested like this, it's just brutal.
That does suck. Could have.
So yeah, no meal of the week for me.
That's a bummer. So, what have you been eating for a week? Nothing or what? Just
I didn't eat
gravy.
anything Tuesday. I've been eating some like Alfredo pasta. Nothing too crazy.
I wonder if I couldn't taste anything, what would I eat?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Here I'm coming back in. So yeah, you had a great meal of the week. I'm gonna have to get some. I'm gonna have to get some Indian food this week. I haven't been in a while since I stopped Jimmy John's because it was right there by the store.
Yeah. Jay, next time you're in town, we'll have to go get some barbecue. There's a joint right next door. Really good stuff. Man, it's fried egg on the sandwich, brisket sandwich, fried
Nice.
egg, pimento cheese. Oh, it's
Oh
just all
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I'll have to get one of those for sure.
Yeah.
So you want to jump in? We got principles with Porter this week.
Yeah. Um, so I wanted to stick with kind of the position that we're on right now, and it's a really simple principle. So we're going through the top 10 and the quarterbacks that are off of my board. It's for the whole league. And one thing I've always been fascinated with the quarterback position in fantasy and definitely in best ball,
Uh huh.
the old, slow, pocket passing quarterbacks score way less points than you would think.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the shitty but fast or like dual threat quarterbacks score way more than you would think. And
Yep.
it's frustrating that it's like that because basically guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Matthew Stafford, they're going to be way down on your list. It's
Uh huh.
it's really idiotic to put them higher on your list. But it also opens up a really interesting dynamic for like, you know, Daniel Jones kind of guys or Anthony Richardson kind of guys or even, actually my number 10 quarterback which I'm going to unveil later. Like there's some of these guys that are sneaky really good runners that
Yeah.
will, be really good value picks for you, but it just that's the principle is it's two of them. The
Love
pocket
it.
passing old slow quarterbacks, they're they're way worse than you would think. And then
Yeah. And when you say that, Drew, a guy that comes to mind, we might have to start thinking about that. I know he's at least approaching 30. Jared Goff, you know, no Ben Johnson there anymore calling plays.
the thing about Jared Goff is he still does tuck it and run every now and then.
Yeah, he's not totally incapable, but I'll be interested. That offensive line's great. He's got great connection with Brown and Laporta and got Gibbs. So yeah, but he's a guy that might be off my board this year, at least in our personal fantasy league.
Yeah,
I just want guys that can run,
I
I
feel
want,
you.
and even if it's just like a guy like Brock Purdy that can run a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but yeah, I
you
like
guessed
that
it.
principle. I like that principle.
Yeah.
And we might be thinking on the same wavelength, Drew. You kind of hinted at your top 10 and a guy that might round out my top 10. We might be on the same wavelength, so I'll be interested to see what your rankings are like.
Well, we can jump right into that if you're ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's start at number 10, man. Um so I mean first off, just the exercise in itself, Jay, it's really harder than you would think. It's just, the idea of it is so easy. All I need to do is just put these guys in order from 1 to 32. And
Uh-huh.
you can easily just go there and say, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3. But then you want to start looking and saying, well, what did each of them score last year? Where did they finish last year? Okay, what was their points per game? Okay, well, this guy was injured. Does that mean he's got an injury bug? Do I need to be worried about him coming back from injury? What,
Right.
this guy added weapons. This guy changed teams. He's with a different coach. How is that going to affect him? It's all just really like a complicated formula when you put it out there. But I think it's so worth it to sit there and try and think through quarterback is the fun one. You can knock that one out easily. And then wide receiver gets really hard.
Yep.
Tight end is surprisingly hard. Running back is, they're all fun to do, but it's hard if you sit there and try and like do a great job at it. You switch this guy and that guy. So anyway,
Yeah,
I
I
had
was
a
gonna
lot of fun
ask
with
you
it.
real quick.
Yeah.
I know you how you've been doing on these color coding depth charts. I mean, we could maybe talk about it as we transition to depth chart analysis. But if you wanted to hit on that, you got any? I wanted to see if you had any like big discrepancies. At least maybe we'll just keep it to quarterback. Did you have any big discrepancies? Maybe
Jay,
outside. Yeah,
I if it's all right with you, I am going to pull those up and look at them for the very first time.
yeah. Let's
This
do it
is
live on air.
live on air. Um, this has been like my big specialty is I don't want to get influenced by ADP this year. You
Yeah,
know, I
I love it.
always I always start in with it, but I want to go in fresh and see if there's any big discrepancies. So, all right, here we go. How do I do this? Okay, I think I just got it. All right.
Yeah, you're saying quarterback. It's such an interesting position, man, because with fantasy, you got guys in here you wouldn't think like this is not a real life quarterback ranking I came up with. This is purely fantasy football,
That's right. Just
you know.
fantasy football, and even at that, it's just best ball.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, I've got it. Um, my one and two are exactly how they are currently on Underdog.
Okay.
So my number one quarterback is Josh Allen. He's, the offense is going to be very similar to what it was last year. Josh Allen just rules the world when it comes to, bullying for a first down. He's just like Jalen Hurts in that way. He's a great pocket passer. This past year, you saw him grow by being able to focus on everybody on the field and not just Stephon Diggs. It's not like they have a running back that's going to hawk any touchdowns or carries from him. I just
Right.
think, Josh Allen, he'll run 15 yards so often, 25, 30 yards. He's he's my number one. He's a safe pick. He's high upside. I think he's number one.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't agree. I got him at number two this year, Drew.
Okay. Do you have
Um, you
Lamar at
know,
one?
approaching 29. Oh, let's just keep on Allen. We'll get to my number one when he comes up. Um, with Allen, he's approaching 29. Um, does the rushing upside begin to kind of fall off a little bit? I noticed last year they didn't run him as much until it kind of got late in the year. Still a phenomenal season. Won the MVP. Um, he's one of my favorite players of all time. It's a shame the Bills and McDermott haven't got him to a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah.
But finished quarterback four last year in fantasy. He really cut down on the turnovers. That's kind of what was the driving force behind his MVP campaign, in my opinion. Led the NFL in QBR. Um, Yeah, man, I love Allen. He's impossible to bring down. I mean, he really is tough to sack. It's kind of him and Mahomes in that regard are just on another level than every other quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's just I actually love the 29 age for him. I think it's really the prime years of his career here. Um, and I actually like that he's kind of got to carry the team on his back a little bit. I
Yeah.
like I like that he doesn't have a star powered receiving group and instead he's got to bully his way for some yards. I
Mhm.
love that. Um, he's my number one, and I just think he's the safest pick. Whereas
Yes,
number
he is.
number two, I think is look. I mean, QB1 in fantasy last year, without a doubt, it's Lamar Jackson. Um,
Yep. You had him on your team.
I had him on my team. Great, great player. Really can break off long runs. And it was just beautiful when you'd get these huge chunks of points
Yeah,
from
he's so
Lamar.
fun to watch too. I want to get him this year. I mean, he's just one of those guys. If you got him on your team, he's just a treat to watch.
He is. You're just every game you're just watching the points just run up the board with Lamar Jackson as
Uh,
your quarterback. Um,
and he just is just so effortless with him. You know,
yeah. Yeah.
he's really the best running quarterback we've ever seen. All-time leader in rushing by an NFL quarterback
Wow. And
already. I mean,
you have to have him in your top 2 because he was number 1 by a good margin last year. But the reason why I have him too is I feel like Lamar plays in a way that gets him injured, and we've seen that injury
yeah,
bite him in past years.
yeah. And he lost weight last year. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, they had that opening game versus the Chiefs, and they're talking about how he lost weight. And if you remember that game, he kind of ran all over the Chiefs. And
Yeah.
he was just really good running last year. And I think having Derrick Henry and that backfield with him kind of opened things up for him. They're just a great combination, those two together. I mean,
Well,
it does kind of limit Lamar's touchdown upside. I think that's why I have Lamar ranked third this year in fantasy. Just kind of the touchdown upside and the durability stuff, like you're saying. That's why I got him right behind Josh Allen at three.
well, the next the next one we have, I actually have him a little bit further down. Um, the QB3. Okay, no, I'm gonna say my
Go with
QB.
your rankings and
Yeah,
go with who
yeah.
you got number three.
Jay, my
Who do you got
QB3
as
is
your
Jalen
third?
Hurts.
Okay, the
Jalen
Super Bowl
Hurts,
hero.
the Super Bowl hero. Look, I mean the the tush push is just such an electric play for him.
Yep,
Um, the
haven't banned it yet.
They haven't banned it yet, and I think even once they do, they're not going to ban it. It's not the little light touch on the ass. That's doing nothing, Jay. What it is the bullies up front. They have the best offensive line that we've seen in
Yeah.
maybe forever. And these guys, it it's not AJ Brown just lightly grazing his ass. That doesn't do anything. They're gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna still run this uh this play, this quarterback sneak is what it is. And it's going to be successful on the 1 yard line. It's
Oh yeah.
Jalen Hurts, his lower half. I mean, he's a gym rat. He's like, I think he's got the
Uh-huh.
best squat of any quarterback. That matters. That matters a lot in this play. But
No doubt.
they're going to continue to run this, and just him on the 1 yard line. There, he's the other joy to watch. It happens once a game.
Yeah.
It's it's just beautiful when
And it wouldn't be American, it wouldn't be football taken out of the game. So
That's
just
right.
keep letting them do it. It's a historic play. I mean, once Jalen Hurts and this offensive line, once they're gone, I mean it's maybe in say Sirianni and Big Dom and the whole crew still there. I don't think they'll be able to replicate it. It's just one of those special things. And they thought Jason Kelsey retiring might impact it. It didn't. It's just like you're saying with Hurts. He's just a gym hero,
Yeah.
and he's just built for that play. So
I've noticed that this year and really how that team has built themselves. They have a bunch of gym heroes there. Even AJ Dillon, he's their new
oh
RB2.
yeah,
Like Saquon, all these guys that they
God,
have, they're
I like that running back too. I like
yeah,
him there.
yeah, they're all gym rats like that. It's how they're building their team right now, and
Oh
they're not building it on the track field, but they're building it in the gym. I love that. Um,
yeah, and they lose Kellen Moore this offseason. We'll see how Jalen continues to develop as a passer. He was great under pressure last year, 77.5 completion percentage when blitzed. So
Jay, really though, his he was not as good of a passer last year. He ended up getting it done, but when you were watching his plays, you were watching his games, it was really
yeah,
frustrating to watch at times.
in the
It's
playoffs though, he was really good.
That's without a doubt. And I feel good in picking him as my QB3 because he comes with a certain floor, that tush
Uh,
push, his rushing upside, but his and that's where I'm saying these rushing quarterbacks really have a leg up, as
yeah,
going back to the principles. But
for sure.
I feel like he does have one of the best situations around him with the offensive line, the receivers, the running backs. It's really, Jalen Hurts is in a really good position. So
Yeah,
I just feel good picking him there.
I
He's an
kind of
Yeah.
maybe I'll save this discussion for when we do our division previews, but kind of think the Eagles are building a little dynasty, Drew.
Yeah.
What if we saw dueling dynasties between the Eagles and Chiefs
Yeah.
at the same time? That would be awesome. And
It's
hell, even the Niners have been there twice, and if they could ever, we'll talk Niners depth chart here later, but yeah, that's good talk on Jalen, man. I can't believe he's turned out to be the best of the Oklahoma quarterbacks.
I know. I know.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, Jay, he's
Who do you
he's
got next on your list? Oh,
I
sorry.
actually,
Keep
yeah, I want to
going.
say Jalen Hurts. They have him as QB4, so he's my
That's
QB
where I
three.
got him.
Okay, my QB4, and Jay, I actually flipped from the one I sent you. My
Uh-oh.
QB4 is Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
Jay,
That's big of you to do that. That shows me you're taking your bias aside because I know you like to make fun of the Bengals and the whole thing.
yeah,
You've had your battles against this guy.
I have. I have had my battles against him, but Jay, when you go back and look at how he ended the year and how he ended last year as well, I mean, really that's what I look for in fantasy. I like to look for players that are ascending, and you want
Uh-huh.
to you want to get them on their year that they really ascend. And where you spot them is usually second half risers. That said,
Yep.
he has had this problem with awful early starts. So
Yeah.
if he has another 1 through 6 week that's just awful, then we're going to get another QB8 performance out of him, or QB9 or something like that. But Jay, this guy was on fire, and he's got his receivers. If they stay healthy for him, you know, I think Joe Burrow, he even
He was
can tuck it
QB
and
two
run it.
last year.
Are you
finished as
sure?
QB2. That's what I got researched.
Huh.
Uh, Maybe that's not right, but yeah, you were talking about a second half. I mean, he
Yeah.
really got after it in the second half, and me and you disagree. One of our big disagreements this offseason has been the T. Higgins move.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I had him as an MVP candidate last year. He came out with the frosted tips, and I was all in, you know. But just the team around him kind of sucked, especially the defense. So, but that kind of works to Burrow's advantage as a fantasy value. Having a bad defense, they're always playing catch up. They always got to keep scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%, Jay.
Chase Brown's a great little safety valve out of the backfield with them.
It's it's I think going to be an electric offense. The defense, I think it's going to be scrubs. They still need defensive backs. It's really not a complete team, but as you just said, that could be great for your, fantasy football offense. I'd be thrilled to have anybody on that offense.
Yeah.
Defense, we'll see. We'll see what they can pull together. I hope it's an
And
awful defense.
Burrow, man, if there's one knock with him, it's his durability. But he had a full year last year. Kind of put that wrist injury behind him, and
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna look at him for MVP again this year.
Mm. So
I
Jay,
had him as QB6.
okay, he's my QB4 on underdog. He's currently QB5, so that's fine. Jay, my QB5 is Jaden Daniels.
Let's go, my QB1.
He
Let's go.
he had a good finish, but Jay, I think I think the Commanders are my team that I will pick as a regression team.
Oh no.
Yeah. You
Oh no. You gotta throw a wet blanket on these Commander fans, Drew. Come
It's all
on.
they
They
want is
got
to have a
Dan
great team.
Snyder. They're feeling so good about themselves, but you're right. This is how the NFL is.
It
They're kind of
is.
the hot, sexy team, and but yeah, I could see that.
They had such an amazing start last year. Jay, do you remember that? They were like 9-1.
Uh,
And I think
yeah,
some of that was sort of like, "Oh, who is this rookie? Oh, wow, he can really run." But Jay, I also remember even Belichick saying, "This guy, he's really can run. He can throw the ball well. The big question mark for him will be his ability to stay healthy." Belichick said this with the way he plays and his body
yeah,
frame, he's going to battle that, is kind of how
yeah. He's
Belichick was.
slender for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
the durability. That's probably why I should have him lower than one. I'm just all in on this guy, man. I think I think there's two ways to look at it. The way you're looking at it, defensive coordinators having a full off season to study him and the durability. He is very slender. I get it, but just taking a just taking a shot on. Look, the whole cast is back. Cliff's back. Devo's in that offense.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw C.J. Stroud have a sophomore slump last year. I don't think it's going to happen this year with Daniels. I just he's going to ride that momentum that he took from the playoffs, and I think he's a better passer than Jalen Hurts. I think he's got such a high floor as with his rushing ability and Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. Don't forget about that, man.
They
I
even took
just
another tackle in the draft.
yeah, just. I think they're going to be more explosive this year than they were last year. 90.9 PFF grade on short throws. He's just an RPO wizard.
Mm.
96 percentile rushing grade. I just who are the best running quarterbacks? We got Lamar, Allen, Kyler, Jaden Daniels. I mean, those are kind of the guys.
Well, one of the sneaky ones I have is coming up, but I'll throw in there Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, dimes.
I mean, Jay, I this is exactly where I fell with Anthony Richardson. Was sort of like,
Oh
let me wet
no.
my beak. Come on, like
Yeah.
at least give me something, some upside to buy into. Like, he's QB3 here on Underdog, and I just don't see myself taking him that high. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
risks
I
associated
think you
with
might be
him.
right. I think you might be right. We'll see
And
if I might make some adjustments to this list.
like, there's a guy that is, I'm not even seeing here on the list, and it's getting me more excited. Yeah, I mean, I'm scrolling. I don't see this guy at all. Where isn't Cam Ward? Isn't he supposed to be a runner?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wet
he
your
can
beak
run.
there, man. I mean, that's going to be one of those
Yeah.
ones that you can get instead. You can get him. I just saw Goff's name before I saw Cam Ward. So if you want to wet your beak and get the next Jaden Daniels, the next guy that you can pick low and he'll end up finishing up in the top 10, I think Cam
Uh-huh.
Ward is probably who you want to look at.
I think that's fair.
So sorry to throw the wet blanket on, but here we are.
No, you got to, man. You got to. I love
Yeah.
the analysis. Who you got up
So
next?
QB6 for me. This is one that kind of coming out of left field here, Jay. He's lower down on underdog.
Here we
You didn't
go.
you didn't mention him. QB6 is Bo Nix.
Oh, Bo, backyard Bo.
Backyard Bo. I love Sean Payton's offense.
Wow.
I love what we saw from Bo Nix. He started off shaky, maybe weeks 1 through 4. He was electric by the end of the season, really getting on a hot streak. And he's a guy that I watched late in the season run the ball. He's getting scoring 35 points in a game in fantasy.
Yeah.
A guy with that potential is really nice to have, and I love what the Broncos have added on their offense.
Uh-huh.
RJ Harvey,
It's a
I
fun offense.
I think RJ Harvey is going to catch so many damn screen passes and
Yeah.
little outs and stuff like that. Evan Ingram, oh, I think even Mims is going to have growth. Jay, Cortland Sutton, when I saw Cortland Sutton's stats, he was like a top 10 guy. Can you
Uh-huh.
believe that? Like, really, this offense was very quietly a really good offense, and they added to it a lot this year. I
Yeah.
think the Broncos are going to have a good offense, and Bo Nix runs it, and he's got a high rushing upside. Jay, that's what I love about him.
Yeah, I hear ya. I didn't have him in my top 10, but I get the case for him. I'm really excited about that offense. I don't know how much he's gonna run though with those running backs they got, and I don't know. Sean Payton's offense, with Drew Brees, they didn't. Drew Brees didn't run a lot. I know Bo had some rushing moments last year, but yeah, I get the case. I really do. It's interesting. We really disagree with each other on these quarterbacks.
Good.
We haven't even talked about your guy yet. So you got Bo Nix ahead of Jaden Daniels.
No, Jaden Daniels is one slot ahead of Bo.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so Jaden was QB5. That's who we just went over. QB6 is Bo Nix. He's on underdog, he's QB10.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's just out. I probably have him at 11. Bo Nix.
Okay. Well, he's maybe my sleeper here. Not as much as a sleeper as I would have wanted him to, but I just feel really safe picking him. I think
Uh
he's going to stay healthy. I think Sean Payton's offense is a great one for him. I think he does tuck the ball and run it way more than you think. And I love what they added there. I think last year they were kind of working with scrubs. They didn't even have really a run game. And this year they have a guy that I think is going to be explosive catching the ball and taking off with it in RJ Harvey.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
I can't wait to see that offense, man. There's
me
so
too.
much explosion. Yeah, I feel ya. I definitely see the case, and he's gonna be a good guy in best ball because he's gonna have some spike weeks
Yeah.
for sure.
Next guy, I mean, look, he's really had a disappointing lot of years kind of here in a row. And I think this is finally the year where we go back to vintage Patrick Mahomes, QB7. What are you laughing? Because,
Hey, look, I'm high on him, man. You know I am. You know I'm gonna be sitting there at the draft room with my card, writing down his name. That's just seems to see what what shakes out in our league. You know, they let these quarterbacks fall to
yeah.
us. Right now on my board, I got him fifth.
Yeah. I mean, he's QB7 for me. And even that is too high. I mean, he was down on the list, Jay, for all intents and purposes. Chiefs offense was down on the list. But Jay, they're going to try and do this year what they wanted to do last year. They wanted to have these three guys flying all around the field and a safety blanket in Travis Kelsey and just go back to Mahomes stretching the field out. Throw,
Uh huh.
throw a deep bomb to Worthy, throw a slant to Rice, throw another slant to Hollywood, do a reverse, to Xavier Worthy. All of this stuff,
Yeah.
throw a underneath to Travis Kelsey. It's it was going to work last year, and then Hollywood got injured, and then Rasheed tore his ACL. They had to ask way too much of Xavier Worthy, way too quick. But
Uh
if
huh.
Xavier Worthy only needs to be wide receiver 3, you know,
That'd be
it's
scary.
scary. He needs to be wide receiver
Yeah, I
4
mean they
because
get
Kelsey is in there as well.
Noah Gray emerging. You
Yeah.
know, it's just as long as they can block for it, man. I think he's gonna have a big year. Doesn't he have a new haircut?
New haircut. He really does look the part this year. Um,
And I like to bag on him because he's been terrible. I mean, not terrible, but he went through a stretch going back to 2023 where he didn't put up 20 points in a game for the longest time. I mean, it was at least 10 games in a row or something like that where he couldn't put up 20 fantasy points, and it was just infuriating. It was
it
infuriating
was.
because I knew the fantasy limitations going into last year, and I still drafted him in the first round. That's just how much I believe in this guy. And I got him fifth on my board, and you're talking about the full offense, the new haircut, the Super Bowl performance was embarrassing. I just think he comes out with something to prove, and I like Mahomes this year a lot. And he hasn't been the best deep ball
No.
thrower, and that's kind of the bugaboo with him. But I think these receivers are going to help. he can run, he can use his legs. He kind of waits till big moments and big games, but hey, last year in the fantasy playoffs, he balled out for me.
Yeah.
He really did that Christmas Day game, especially
Yeah.
against the Steelers. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to target him in best ball, Drew. Um, just like more guys that can give you better spike weeks, that have more upside. But yeah, I mean, I definitely love Mahomes this year.
I wish, Jay, I wish that I could, as I say, wet my beak a little bit, but they're not giving me much. I mean, he's QB6.
Yeah,
So,
that's a fair price for
it's a
him, I
very
think.
fair price. Um, so I like him. I mean, he's not going to get injured. That's the other thing is he's a very tough quarterback. He doesn't want to leave the game either. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you can count on him to be there every week,
you
pretty
can
much.
count on him, which is nice. So Jay, that's my QB7 there. I feel good about him this year again. I might get duped again, but that's the beauty of bet.
I'll be right there
Yeah,
with
it's the
you.
beauty of fantasy football. You get duped. Jay, the next QB on my list is a guy that, oh wow, I have him the same here on best ball. I think the Cardinals are taking a step forward this year. I like the
Okay.
vibe there. Um,
Yeah.
I think they've had a couple of really good drafts in a row, and I like Marvin Harrison to take a step forward. Trey McBride was easily one of the best tight ends in the game. And yeah, I mean Kyler Murray, he can run the ball. That's the big thing.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the ones that I feel like you get your free lunch with is Kyler Murray running the ball. You're guaranteed a nice blanket for the whole season as well.
Yeah. Gives He's got a nice floor with his running ability.
And you'll want to pair him with another good quarterback, but it's one of these ones that you want to be there for his spike weeks. He has huge spike weeks.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So he's my QB8
Some
and
high 20s games. I got him 8 as well.
okay. I mean all of us are the same. You, me and underdog. Anything you have on him? I mean, I know you've followed him quite a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I said Josh Allen is my favorite player. I mean, he's right there. If Josh Allen is one of my favorite guys to watch. I mean, he's just so fun to watch when he's scampering around and trying to make magic. Man, if he was 2 inches taller, he'd really be a problem.
Yeah,
He
he
leaves me
would.
wanting more. He leaves me wanting more, Drew, because I've seen it in college, I've seen it in high school. He's got top five quarterback in him. But I like the offseason the Cardinals have done a good job kind of building around him. Um, my dreams of him being an elite quarterback are probably done, Drew, but we're talking fantasy here. And I think he could be an elite fantasy quarterback.
He
Um,
definitely is.
yeah, just one of the things he proved last year is he can stay healthy for a full season. Second year off the ACL now, maybe he shows a little bit more juice. Not that he didn't have it last year, but he might be willing to take off and run a little bit more this year. And love the weapons you mentioned around him, and they run the ball a lot in Arizona. That's kind of the thing. I mean, I watch the Cardinals as close as any team, um, and they love to establish James Conner, and so sometimes it frustrates me. But yeah, I think eight's a really good ranking for him.
Yeah. Well, um, next one I think is one of your other favorite quarterbacks.
Yes, sir.
Yep, you know where I'm going with it. For me, number 9 is Baker Mayfield.
Let's go.
Baker, he's one of these guys that really surprised you or surprised me when I look back and look at his stats, how good he was last year.
41 touchdowns, baby.
He's incredible. And he's been around the league for quite a while. Um, it's, it just shows that there's a level of consistency that you're buying with him. Whereas in the past, you feel like, oh, I feel like Baker's going to have a good year. I think you kind of know he's going to punch in at least a really solid to great year.
Uh huh.
Um, I like the receiving that they added. I like a lot
Yep.
his pairing with Bucky. He throws the ball screens to Bucky, and they go for a
Yep.
long way. But I mean, really, I'm excited to see that three-headed monster they have with Mike Evans, Egbuka, and who's their last
Godwin.
Godwin. I'm really excited to see that. And then, you know,
Even Jalen McMillan's really good too. Is like a number 4 kind of guy. The
absolutely.
Evans and Godwin are gonna get banged up, so having McMillan and then Kate Otten was really good at tight end
Yeah.
last year. Mentioned the running backs. I mean, yeah, I love this Bucks offense. I think they're going to be one of the best in the league. I know some are going to a little worried about Liam Cohen going to Jacksonville. I am too, but it's just you look at this division, Drew, the NFC South. It's just a bunch of bottom dwellers. I mean, Baker's going to get back there. He threw 16 picks last year,
Jeez.
which I kind of like. He's just a gunslinger.
Yeah.
He's going to it's good for fantasy. I'll take the -2 points if he's going to get it back with these explosive plays. He's got a lot of Brett Favre in him.
He does. He
You
does.
know, and he can use his legs too, man. He can take off and run.
He's a
Yeah, I
fun
got I got Baker at number 7.
great. He's QB9 for me. I love him. He's fun. He'd be fun to have as your quarterback there.
Yeah,
And
for
Jay, to
sure.
round out my top 10, going back to a guy that you mentioned, is Brock Purdy.
Yep.
He can tuck the ball and run it. He's quick. He's quick like that. And he's QB 12 on the board here. So, but I really like it this year that he's even going to have a little bit of less options. I think
Uh huh.
it's going to be dump offs to McCaffrey. It's going to be hit Kittle, hit Ayuk. Well, actually, and even who was their first rounder last year? What was his name?
Pearsall.
Pearsall. They'll be able to hit him as well. But I love his ability to tuck it and run it.
Uh huh.
I
I do
think
too. It's underrated, man. He's a good athlete.
very, very contract year. It's looking
Yep.
like he might not even get the contract this year. I love
Could
that
be a
for him.
franchise tag, or is he under contract this year? It's just after this year he's not under contract.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, I kind of love that. I think that's a plus if he doesn't have a new deal going into the year.
It's huge.
Playing for that, and I like him a lot too, Drew. I got him at number 9 in my list. And people are gonna say, "Oh, he's Dak. You can't pay him like the Cowboys paid Dak." But I think he's a better player than Dak.
Yeah.
He's beat Dak twice in the playoffs. Second in the league last year, yards per attempt, 8.5. I mean, this offense that Shanahan runs is explosive.
Yeah.
He's got a great connection with George Kittle. We mentioned he's got something to prove. And they
He's just
last year was just a tough year, man. I mean, we're gonna talk about it with you Chiefs when we do our divisional breakdowns, but when you lose the Super Bowl, it's tough to bounce back that next year. You got a
Yeah.
tough schedule. They had the second toughest schedule last year for quarterbacks. So it should be much easier this year, and he can run, man. He can. I think I'm gonna get a lot of shares of Brock Purdy this year because I'm higher on him than the public.
I think so as well. I agree with you there. And like, I think he's a very safe option over a guy like who is, actually the QB 10, no, QB 9 on best ball, Caleb Williams, QB 9.
Yeah.
I think Brock is a way better, like, safer option. I mean, really what you get is a guy, what you're getting with him. I feel like Caleb Williams and some of these other guys, you're kind of having to play a lottery, hopefully that they're going to take a step forward. Like, we know what Brock
Right.
is, we know
Hundred
exactly what he
percent.
is. So, anyway, I want to mention a couple that are off my board.
Yeah, I got one guy at number 10, Drew, we haven't talked about
Let's
yet.
hear them.
Kind of a surprise to some, but I got Justin Fields here at number 10.
I love Justin Fields.
It's the clear starter, rushing upside. You gotta love it. You gotta take him seriously in fantasy this year. Fresh start in New York. It's gonna be a major storyline coming into the year. And just he was a bottom seven quarterback in terms of clean pocket, EPA per attempt. So he needs to get better there. He doesn't have much poise in the pocket, but I'm hoping he can get better, some good coaching and the connection with Garrett Wilson going back to his college days. I think that could be something special. And Brees Hall return into elite form and really open up some nice run lanes for him. Kind of like we were talking with Lamar and Derrick Henry earlier. So he's so dynamic with his legs, man. I think he's going to give you some good spike weeks in best ball.
He is, but I really wish he was farther down than this. He's QB 11 on underdog. I
Yeah,
just I haven't really seen a great season from him. Like, I just saw a great season from Bo Nix. I've seen like maybe 1.5 to 2 great seasons from Brock Purdy. I don't think I've ever seen it from Justin Fields.
yeah,
He
you're
sat
right.
behind
We
Russell
haven't. We
Wilson
haven't
all
seen
year.
it. Yeah, we haven't seen it, man. I just go back to his college days. He's so damn good, and him and Trevor Lawrence were in the same recruiting class in high school, and they were like heralded as the top quarterback prospects, like generational prospects. And if they can block for him, I don't. Who's the quarterback coach for the Jets? That's a big question. They haven't been able to develop a
Yeah.
quarterback there forever. Hopefully, he's getting some good coaching, but they came out and made an aggressive move for him, a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
They believe in him.
Listen,
So,
I love Aaron Glenn. I love the vibe in New York this whole off season. Aaron Glenn came in and said, "We're going to have a quiet off season here. That we need it. We all need a quiet off season in New York."
yeah,
And it's exactly what they've had. And you feel good about where the Jets are. They took a big old huge offensive tackle in Armand Membu,
yeah.
and he'll be a good pass protector for Fields. So I do love him, and I love Aaron Glenn. I just wish I could get him more down closer to QB 17, QB 20.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah, but people are thinking like that, like we're thinking.
they
So,
are. Jay, I see
um,
Cam Ward way down there. I love that pick.
yeah, that I'd love to get him as kind of a flyer at the late rounds.
I love that one.
But
Well,
yeah, that was good stuff, man. Good quarterback talk there. I think we got a good feel. I think two things I'm going to take away from this discussion, Drew, that you kind of convinced me on is move Bo Nix into the top 10, probably for Fields. And then I would knock down Jaden Daniels, just the durability concerns. And we have seen a lot of sophomore slumps over the years.
yeah,
So maybe have him closer to number 3 or 4 for me, but he's kind of a plant my flag guy, you
yeah,
know.
I love that.
And we'll do a plant your flags podcast. We need to do that soon,
Yeah.
kind of once you get done with your color coding and all that jazz. I love it.
Well, listen,
We're just we're
I
just
want
in
to
the trenches, baby, swinging our swords,
I want to
riding our pirate ship.
I want to highlight just a couple more that I've colored on here, which is the off my board people.
Okay.
I'll run through them just real quickly, but basically anybody on the Browns, they're off my board. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't want to play that game.
Yeah, they're stinky.
I have a feeling it's going to be multiple people all throughout the season, and God bless them. I hope they
The
find what they're looking.
rotation, like I was talking about, the
Yeah,
quarterback rotation.
they're all
It's
off
gonna
my
be a
board.
that's gonna be a thing.
All the Giants are off my board as well.
Even neighbors?
No, 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 no. All the
Oh,
Giants
just
quarterbacks.
quarterback. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the QBs that are highlighted yellow for me, which is off my board. Russell Wilson, um, Jameis Winston, or even who's the rookie from Ole Miss, the Giants rookie from Ole
Oh,
Miss,
Dart.
Jackson
Jackson
Dart.
Dart.
They're all off my board. I'm not going to be uh,
Okay.
playing that game. You know, for
That's
best
fair.
ball, I'm just not going to play that game. So, and then all of the Saints quarterbacks, I think they're all stinky. They're all stinky. And again, it's just these unpredictable situations. I don't want to play it. But, Jay, there is one that I want to highlight that's not color coded off my board and may surprise some folks out there because it's a shaky situation. I'm going to buy into sort of last round Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
He's
I don't
there. I
I
finally,
think Dimes is winning that job.
I very well could, but even if Anthony Richardson plays 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and he puts in a
Yeah.
couple of big rushing weeks, that can be worth it as a last round pick.
Yeah. He's a worthy roll of the dice, I think, at the end of a draft.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
So those are all the guys that are off my board. There's 3 teams. I'm just not going to play that lottery, but I will
Uh-huh.
play. I will play the Indianapolis lottery.
Okay. I respect it. That good quarterback discussion right there, bro.
Yeah, it was.
We got to talk about the Derek Carr thing. Do you have that for walking the plank or anything?
Yeah, he is walking the plank for me. He's
Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that. Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Let's move into these depth charts, man.
Let's do
We
it.
did the AFC West last pod, NFC West this week. Excited to break down these depth charts. Um, if you could do one thing, Drew, I don't have our lads pulled up. If you could have our lads, just kind of if I
Yeah.
need a name,
Who do you want to start with? Which team?
we'll start with the champs, the division champs last year, the Rams. You look at the Rams depth chart. You got Stafford in there on his new deal. Stetson Bennett, the backup, kind of a shit backup, in my
Uh,
opinion.
they got Jimmy Garoppolo as well.
Oh, that's right. They got Jimmy G. Okay. Yeah, he'll be the backup. I
I
had
don't.
that as a question mark, though. I thought they needed a better backup than Stetson Bennett.
I thought this would have been a great landing spot for Shador.
Yeah, surprised they didn't. I'm surprised them, the Cowboys, the Steelers, all these teams. I'm surprised, man.
Yeah.
It's just shock. One of the most shocking draft things that's happened. But yeah. Um. So with the Rams, Kyron Williams is the workhorse. We know that. I think he's a top 10 fantasy guy at his position. They did draft this kid Hunter,
Yep.
and they've got Blake Corum in there. But it's we
What
think
happened
this is
with
pretty
Blake
much
Corum?
Kyron.
Blake Corum was a great prospect, and he really did not get any play last year. And I think even when he did, it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he hasn't caught the eye of McVay yet.
Yeah,
Um, they love Kyron Williams. Kyron's got a great motor. I mean, he can play all games, so might be one of those deals where Cora needs to get a change of scenery, maybe down the road. We'll see
maybe.
how this rookie Hunter is if he kind of emerges as the running back too. This is one of my favorite receiving units in the league, Drew. With Devontae coming in, replacing Cooper Cup. I think that's an upgrade. Um, it's really a Cooper Cup. I know they got Tutu Atwell
Mm-hmm.
and Puka. That's kind of
Yeah,
the big three.
huge three.
Um,
They added a seventh round rookie in Konata Mumpfield. Jordan Whittington got some play in there last year.
okay. Yeah, he can play a little bit. I don't hate him out of Texas.
There's
Um,
there's a number of other guys. They used to have Demarcus Robinson. He's been great there, but they let him go.
yeah. Yeah, he's an intra-division signing, I believe, by the Cardinals. Um,
Okay.
I got him on my notes later. I know, but yeah. You look at their offensive line. Is there going to be a battle at center? Limmer and Shelton.
Yeah.
Is, I think that's going to be a battle to watch. I got my money on Bo Limmer. Uh, Ferguson at tight end is an interesting fantasy guy, Drew.
Yeah, it is.
This rookie they drafted. Stafford, though, he doesn't hit the tight end a lot. Just a 16.5% target rate since 2021 to the tight end.
Well, also, who is he had? I mean, Tyler Higbee isn't anything to write home about.
Yeah, but I like them adding a tight end, a solid tight end, and bumping Higby down to a tight end too. I think they're going to be really good at that tight end room.
Yeah, I like that.
Uh, their draft wasn't flashy. It was not flashy, but the Rams draft on character. They go after high character guys that McVay knows he's going to mesh well with
Yeah, I
and that
see
want to
that.
play hard. So I really, looking at this roster, we'll go to the defense. I think they're a cornerback short. I thought they would add a guy in the draft high, but they didn't. Does Jalen Ramsey come back?
Yeah, he is. I've heard them talk about it. It's basically, it sounded to me like McVay was pretty dead set on bringing him back, but it's
That'd be
just about,
huge.
it's working out the price that they're, in both the pay, the salary that they're going to have to pay, and also the compensation back to the Dolphins.
Uh,
Like literally, McVay kind of sounded like it's a done deal, but they're still working out those details. And I think it'll be also a post June 1 thing. It makes it easier or something. So we'll see.
yeah, it's interesting. He'd be huge for them just to come back. The familiarity, just the attitude he brings to a defense, would be huge. They got so many young guys. He'd be a great veteran presence for them. So. Yeah, and I like this kid they drafted at linebacker, Drew Chris Paul Jr.
Yeah.
Think he's going to be a player to watch. Special teams wise, they got Derek Hardy. Kind of found his footing at kicker late last year. Um, but yeah, he's not great. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up sucking. You know, he's the guy I'm probably not going to draft in fantasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Rams.
I love
Solid
their
team.
defensive line. Um,
Yeah,
Kobe Turner is awesome. Even Byron Young is really fun. Uh,
yeah,
Braden Braden Fisk.
yeah. They've hit some really good draft picks up front, and they bring in Puna Ford in free agency to kind of be the veteran for that young, hungry group.
Yeah. Any
So
Jared
has it?
Verse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to mention him. He's a great player. Looks was in contention. Do they do a defensive rookie of the year, or is it just rookie of the year?
Defensive rookie of the year is a thing. Yeah.
He'd be in the running for that last year. I don't forget who won. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Rams solid team. They're going to be a playoff caliber team for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Seahawks now. My Seahawks. I mean, what a wild offseason it's been in Seattle. We got to start at quarterback. One of my favorite, one of the most interesting things to watch earlier in the year, Drew, is this Jalen Milrow thing.
Oh.
At backup, he's going to have a role, and I think he could take over at some point. If you're playing in a dynasty league, go take a flyer on Jalen Milrow in your drafts because I'm telling you, he's going to be special. He's going to be special with what they're building. Hell, you got Drew Lock as a third quarterback. You can do much worse than that.
Well, uh, didn't they just get the $100 million man?
Sam Darnold, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at this thing 2, 3 years from now. I
I
just
see.
love what they're doing. Gray's able, the addition to the O line. I mean, I love it. Kenneth Walker's a stud. You just got to stay healthy.
I mean,
Is that
can I can I be a little bit of a wet blanket here?
Yeah, this is a team we disagree on.
It is. I don't like what they've done. I mean, I feel like Cooper Cup is one of these guys that when McVay throws a player aside, it's sort of like, okay, they're done. They're taking a big step down. He knows.
Yeah,
McVay is on the ground there. He knows when these guys take a step back. And we even saw it last year with Cup. It was sort of like, what happened to Cooper Cup? I feel like he has taken a big step back. Marquez Valdez Scantling is so he's such a he's such a blah receiver. He was with the Chiefs and all he can do is run down the field. He's got a good straight line miles per hour that he can hit.
be a
And
field stretcher.
but you have to hit him right in the breadbasket and even then he clutches it and drops it a decent amount. I do
I'm
love
surprised they thought that was a better decision to just do that instead of just keep Tyler Lockett.
right, right.
I mean, if there's one thing Tyler Lockett can do, it's the deep ball. I don't, who knows? Maybe Father Time's caught up with them, but
Maybe. But
has he been signed yet?
I think he has. I think I was looking at him on another team. There's another team that he's a part of, Jay, and I can find it for you here somewhere. I think I highlighted him in yellow that he's off my board. Yeah. Yeah, the Titans.
Okay.
Tyler
Oh, the
Lockett
Titans.
to the
Yeah, we were
Titans.
talking about the Titans a little bit. The wide receiver core is dreadful.
I mean, this is the other one, Jay. I mean, I really do like Jackson Smith and Ajigba.
Yeah,
He's great, but I
he's a
love
plant my flag guy this year.
I think Darnold is a step down from Geno.
Yeah, you know I'm a Geno guy. I'd probably agree with you, but I think he's going to be good in this offense, man. And Miller's going to have a role. He's going to come in 6 to 8 plays, and he's going to be a superstar in those 6 to 8 plays. And then Darnold's just kind of going to manage things, and they're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to want to play defense and run the ball. That's what McDonald wants to build this team into. And you get Kubiak coming in as the OC.
Jay, don't sue me here. I'm just the messenger. They weren't very good at running the ball last year. I mean, I I traded for Kenneth Walker in fantasy football and he totally screwed me, Jay.
Yeah, he got injured and then he didn't look the same.
Kenneth Walker, he's one of these guys that really he'll get like negative yards a lot and 1 yards a lot and then like really when you think, "Oh my god, I'm literally only going to have 27 yards from this guy all game." Then he breaks off like a 54-yarder or something and saves the day. But
Yeah.
that's been the
Hey,
story.
hey, they're gonna use a fullback this year.
Ooh.
It's gonna completely change things. Clint uh Clint Kubiak's coming in from New Orleans. And remember, New Orleans lit it the fuck up for a couple weeks. And everyone was like, this Kubiak guy is a head coaching candidate. Well, now he's just in Seattle as the OC. And I thought it was surprising they moved on from their OC, Grubb. He went back to college. I really liked him,
Hmm.
but I think Kubiak's just as good. And I think they're going to run the ball a lot better than they did last year. I mean, Dre Zabel is going to be a real addition to this offensive line. And even beyond Kenneth Walker, you got Charbonnet. He's a really nice backup, good pass protection skills. And you get the fullback this year.
Yeah.
So.
I think you're
Yeah,
kind
I
of
hear you
also
though. I get the concerns with Cup. He's injury prone, but
I think
Laviska
also if you're
Chenault can play.
yeah, even like Charles Cross, I don't think he's the left tackle that we thought he was going to be. And you'd kind of love to have been able to just maybe get a better one there, but you're sort of in golden handcuffs at the moment. I
I
do love the
like
Gray
I
Zabel.
like tight end Drew. They drafted a really good one in Arroyo. I think he's the starter and I think he's gonna be really relevant in fantasy.
Okay, I like that. So
Remember
what
Arroyo?
this is the end of the Noah Fant uh, craze.
Yeah, I think so.
He's had a he's
They
had a
tried to
long
make him work because he was involved in that Russell Wilson trade, but
Noah Fant.
Arroyo is the starter. This was a good tight end draft class.
Noah Fant has been one of these guys that you can get in the 17th round of your drafts for just about every year after his. I think he was a first rounder. He was
Yeah,
probably worth a lot more then, but yeah, he's been a last round kind of guy for a long time.
yeah. So look out for Arroyo, man. The defense. I love this defensive line, man. Byron Murphy's a breakout candidate for me. Now they need to do better versus the run, but that's why they picked up Tank Lawrence. That's why they went out and got him from the Cowboys. We got all name team guys and Boye Mafe and Uchenna Nwosu at outside linebacker. And Ernest Jones is just a tackling machine. He's like a fucking Bobby Boucher reincarnated. I mean, he's just a tackling machine at middle linebacker. I love what they've done. Josh Ross behind him. He's got some experience in McDonald's scheme. And the front seven's got some pieces.
They picked up Nick Emanwari. He was probably the top rated safety in there in the draft.
Yes. Yeah, I can't say his name, but yeah, a lot of people liked him. 6'4" in the box safety. Think he could be the second coming of Cam Chancellor.
Ooh.
Think he's going to be a great chess piece for McDonald. You know, and that secondary's nasty. Witherspoon and Woolen are lockdown corners. You know, Woolen's got elite length. He's he's something. I don't think he's tapped into his full potential yet. But I love this defense. I love this team.
Was
I'm part
Byron
of the 12th
Murphy?
man this year.
I guess the only place I can find to maybe be a sad sack on the Seahawks a little bit is Byron Murphy. He was the guy last year messing around with a transgender date, little
What?
transgender hookup.
Oh no.
There was a transgender hookup, and he got exposed. His
Oh gosh.
his date posted all about the screenshots, and
That's brutal. I didn't need to know that.
sorry, I'm just trying to do my part shitting on the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
I feel you. Yeah, this is one of our major disagreement teams, the Seahawks.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes. But special teams wise, they're pretty good at kicker and punter. Um, Chenault's a really good return man. Chenault's a good player.
yeah,
I'm
he
telling
is.
you. Yeah, the Cardinals next, Drew. Cardinals came in third place last year. Defense has undergone a total makeover this offseason. 6 out of 7 draft picks on that side of the ball. You start at quarterback. Brissett's a high-end backup, in my opinion. Love him as a backup quarterback. Think he can fill in for a game or two if Kyler gets injured. James Conner on a contract here. Love him in fantasy. Benson didn't really show me much last year, but
Yeah,
year two maybe he has a better grasp of the offense. DeMercado, I kind of thought he had a little bit more juice than Benson, but maybe I'm wrong.
yeah.
I watched the Cardinals closely, man. I'm a Mike. I'm on Michael Wilson Island. I continue to think he's just. I'm just hanging out on his island, man. I think he's a solid wide receiver too.
You know who I hang out on is the island of Greg Dortch.
The Dorcher Chamber.
The Dorcher Chamber. He's one of the greater route runners, isn't he?
Yeah, he
He's
gets
got
open.
he has really really nice footwork and clean, crisp routes.
Yeah, don't sleep on him.
What about
Don't.
Marvin Harrison? What are we going to see from him this year?
It was disappointing last year, wasn't it? I mean, he had some really good games. Maybe a better best ball guy. I think he's gonna have some spike weeks. But it's really about running the ball and getting Trey McBride looks. And then Marvin Harrison just wasn't he wasn't the go-to, no doubt, number one receiver. And I think that's what's gonna keep me away in fantasy this year.
Yeah.
You know?
You have a lot of continuity on the offensive line again. How
You do. That's nice to see.
how
It's
was
really good.
Paris Johnson? They picked him high.
He's been solid. He's been injured a little bit, but he's been solid. They're happy with that pick, I think. And it totally changes when you got a great left tackle. It just totally changes things. You don't have to worry about sliding over and helping. And yeah, I think he's been a good draft pick. Right guard's the area of concern up front, Drew. Um, who do they got right there at right guard?
Isaiah Adams at right guard, and they brought in Royce Newman to compete there.
Okay. Yeah, they got Kelvin Benjamin. He's kind of their swing tackle. He's just a good veteran, been in the league a while. So yeah, they've they're trying to build a good team around Kyler. It's really up to him. They got on defense. They got to bottle up the run better in this division with all the running backs, Shanahan and McVay's run schemes. You gotta. Even the Seahawks are talking. They're gonna run the ball.
Yeah.
Um, Hold on, Roxy's getting in trouble. Roxy's waking up from her nap and she's just knocking shit over. But yeah, the Cards on defense, I mentioned this is a total rebuild, man. They get Walter Nolan in there, and I just love him. I love him up front. At edge, they got good depth. Cody Simon, a playoff hero for Ohio State. He's at linebacker, I believe.
Will Johnson, the steal.
Yes, I love that pick. I would have used the first on him, but teams were kind of scared off with his medicals, I guess. Um, Garrett Williams is a blossoming star. 80 PFF grade a year ago in the secondary. And the Taylor Dimerson can cover a little bit too. Solid piece. Solid special teams as well, man. You're going to be a good team. It's just a tough division.
They added a lot of depth here. Really, a lot all over. Even
I see the
starters.
vision. I see the vision for what they're trying to build.
I love even bringing in a solid veteran in Calais Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about him. That's a good one. Yeah, Cardinals will be fun to watch, man. We talked about Kyler earlier.
They picked up Josh Sweat.
Yeah, that was their big free agency move. They just got to get after the passer. They had to get better up front this year. They've done that. Walter Nolan's going to be huge. Him and Sweat, and yeah, it's going to be fun. Don't forget a guy like Baron Browning. They got him listed as a backup.
No, they have him listed as starter.
Yeah, he's good.
Don't forget about Buda Baker hawking in the
Yep.
backfield.
I believe he just got paid too. He's on a nice new deal. Yeah. Well, let's move to the Niners. Then we'll do a little find your inner pirate, walk the plank before we get out of here. With the Niners, we talked about Purdy already. That's kind of the question surrounding them is the contract with him, but
Yeah.
a lot of new faces, man. A lot of new faces. And a lot of new faces on defense. The first five picks were on defense.
And they did have a huge draft. They got a lot of new players coming in, and they let a lot of players go. Jay, you know
Yeah.
one of the guys that I feel like will I'll be higher on than most this year is Jawan Jennings.
Third and Jawan.
Third in Jawan. I mean, it's shocking to see what a good year he punched in. At
Yeah. Really was a breakout guy last year.
yeah. And nobody expected it. If anyone, you kind of expected Ricky Pearsall to be that guy, and it was the Jawan Jennings show.
Yeah.
I kind of like their team having purged a little bit. They did. Oh, I thought they purged Kyle Juszczyk. Do they have him back?
Yeah, I thought he got released, didn't he?
That's what I thought.
Maybe he is back. Not sure.
Hmm. They let go of their swing tackle. The Chiefs
I
took
think
their
I
swing
think
tackle.
the Seahawks picked him up.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just
Okay.
making that up or wishful thinking.
Yeah, probably.
But
Um, I
they're
love what I
using a
hear.
fullback this year.
the
Believe in
49ers
Kenneth Walker.
49ers offensive coordinator literally came out and said, "We are going to try and get Christian McCaffrey the football as much as possible."
Yeah, you love to hear that from a
Uh-huh.
fantasy perspective. Jordan Mason's a Viking now, so it's really opened up for him. I didn't really have anybody. I guess this Jordan James they drafted out of Oregon could be something. I
Well,
believe they got him listed as third string.
yeah. And who's the guy that the Chiefs picked up from them? Their running back. Um, who am I thinking of? Is
Garrett Garendo.
no, no. They. It's been a guy that has always been injured with them. Mitchell, Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah. So it looks like they picked up Israel Abanadakata
Uh-huh.
from the Jets. Patrick Taylor Jr. He had a couple games in there.
Yeah. The thing
Jo-
with Shanahan, man, he can make these running backs look really good. With
yeah, we'll have to see Jordan James. That could be a guy to keep your eye on.
yeah, I think you want to stash his name away.
I think Isaac Garendo, he had his chance last year and he didn't do shit.
Yeah, he really did. He didn't jump out.
Jay, keep an eye out on Mac Jones. If he ends up getting any playing time, I think it's the
Yeah,
resurgence of Mac Jones.
I think he'll be relevant in fantasy if he does.
This is who they wanted back in the day. It's who they wanted to pick, and they ended
Yeah,
up going with what's his name? Their Trey
Trey
Lance.
Lance. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shanahan wanted Mac Jones though, so I agree. He'll be fun to watch in preseason too. I'll probably be betting on the Niners this preseason with Mac Jones running the show.
yeah.
I think that could be fun.
They get to hold
Yeah,
on to their continuity in the offensive line.
yeah, yeah. I was surprised they didn't add in the draft to the O line. I guess they did take a seventh rounder out of Iowa, but that's it.
Yeah.
McKivitz sucks. I think that Humphrey behind him will replace McKivitz.
Well, DJ Humphries is a baller. He
I
won
think
the
he's
Super Bowl
better.
with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I just think he's better. Receiving core. We mentioned Demarcus Robinson. He's a Niner. I think I said Cardinals earlier. He's a Niner,
Great.
and he might have a DUI suspension coming down the pipe.
Who
So
doesn't?
this,
It's all right.
so this something to watch there. But I continue to think this Jacob Cowing could have some moments for them. I
Interesting.
thought coming into last year he would. He didn't really have any big moments, but he's going to be a really good special teams player. Nice return guy for them, I think.
Who
Um,
was actually um there was one
Roxy's
guy uh,
Roxy's throwing a fit now, trying to get in the room.
oh no.
I kicked her out.
Jay, I'll have to look. I think there was one guy that all of the scouts on the Niners and everyone I heard their GM talk with McAfee about this. There was like one guy that everybody agreed we should go get. I'll have to follow up with you on that. It was some good intel.
This Jordan Watkins, I think, could fit well in Shanahan's scheme.
That might have been who it was. Is he like a track star?
Yeah, he's got some great speed, I think.
Okay, I think that's who it was. They like him as a special teamer and as a weapon.
Okay. Yeah, they got this tight end, Drew Cameron Latu. He's a former basketball player, kind of a project for them. So we'll see if he can emerge behind Kittle. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, the O line's my holdup with this team. I just don't think it's good enough. So
Yeah.
Defensively, Gross Matos is a nice little key depth piece for them up front with his versatility. I like that pickup for them. But yeah, a lot of new faces on this defense.
I love. I know you're not a big fan of their draft, but I love Michael Williams. I like that pick for them. He's reminds me of like an Alden Smith type of guy. Actually,
Okay.
throwback.
Hopefully minus the off the field stuff.
Yeah, but he's a big, long, and tall, true pass rusher type like him. And they're
Yeah.
thrilled.
They got a lot to work with him.
Uh, you know, they were saying that they kind of would go over these perfect case scenarios, and they really wanted to build out the defensive line here. And the perfect scenario that when they would run it, they're like, man, if it would happen this way, it was to take Michael Williams and Alfred Collins in the second,
Yeah.
and that's who they got.
Yeah. A- Alfred Collins, former guy that Oklahoma thought they were going to get, but Texas got him, and he's a
Uh,
really good. He was really good at Texas, and I like. That's probably my favorite pick they made was him. I think he'll be a impact guy up front for sure. Look at linebacker, Drew. I didn't like the Nick Martin pick. That was probably one of my worst picks of the draft.
hmm,
I think Dee Winters is better than him.
interesting.
So, but yeah, I think they're really gonna miss Hufanga at safety. Hufanga goes to Denver, and I think they're really gonna miss him. But yeah, that's all I got on the Niners, man.
Yeah, I'm. I
Moody, the kicker, the jury's still out on him, in my opinion. I don't really know.
definitely.
He's looked good. He's looked bad.
Um, Wishnowski is one of the. He's one of the best long snappers.
Oh yeah, nice call out. He is. I mean, where else are you getting this in this? I mean, we're just fighting our inner pirates out here. We're just swinging our swords. It's what we do. I mean, we're gonna have such a good grasp of the league, bro, with
We
this
are.
depth chart analysis. It's
We
gonna be
are.
great for fantasy. It's gonna be great for gambling.
It's great to look into
All
these.
right. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I'm having a blast. Let's do Find Your Inner Pirate. Let's do Walk in the Plank and maybe a little Madden quarter at the end. I'll start us off. Find Your Inner Pirate. My boy, speaking of video games, my boy Jack Cag getting the call up to AAA.
Nice.
Jack Caglione's found his inner pirate.
Wait, is this in
And
real life
AAA,
or is this in the game?
I think both.
Nice.
I think he's in AAA in real life too. But yeah, I'm talking the video game. We just got called up and playing about a month now in AAA, and it was a rude welcome meeting, Drew. I play on high difficulty, and they were just I went like 0 for 15 for a stretch.
Wow.
But then I hit a couple bombs, so now I feel a little bit better about myself. But and pitching too, dual. He's a dual guy.
Awesome.
Pitching too, I've been getting lit up. So
Wow.
it's been fun though. I
Yeah, and you'll
love it.
get your bearings.
Yeah. So that's my first one. I'll throw it to you for Find Your Inner Pirate.
Well, can I throw in a Madden corner?
Yeah, for sure.
So I told you I started a new league there and kind of did a fantasy draft and took a bunch of young guys, especially on the
Yeah,
offensive line and the defensive line. My two big guys,
that's
I got
exciting.
Trist, Tristan Wirfs and I got Aiden Hutchinson.
Ooh.
And
Oh wow,
those were
your
some. Yeah,
cornerstones.
they are. They're cornerstones. And then Jay, I told you I run through these seasons pretty quickly. I ran through one, and it was Matt Ryan as my quarterback, and it I just had a geriatrics team. I had Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Ndamukong Suh,
Yeah.
um, and I forget who else. It was a lot of like really old guys, uh, you know,
That's
coming in
funny.
on their last year, and we all went and won the Super Bowl together. It was great,
Hell
and
yeah.
then
Did a lot of them retire
a
after?
lot of them retired afterwards, and it was great to then. I had to have a huge draft, and
Yeah.
really the main one was I made a little trade up to a quarterback that I was targeting.
Oh,
He was a guy that you
gotta get your franchise guy.
I yeah, and he's a guy that had he's kind of like a Bo Nix. He was quick. He has great short area accuracy and the ability to throw short area. And that's what I've been building it off of. I'm playing with him in his first year,
Right
and it's
on.
just great to hit all these slants and
Love it.
screens and all that stuff.
Get some RPOs in your playbook and
Yeah.
make it get good at those, man. Those are big. If you can get good at those, I mean, you got a good O line you're building. You can always hand it off if they're playing light box, or if they're playing heavy box, you just swing it out there, a little bubble screen action. And yeah, you'll be set.
It's a lot of fun. I love
That's my
developing
recommendation.
I love developing a quarterback rather than having just Mahomes
Yeah,
already at 99.
yeah, and I get to do that too in my college football game because the guys go graduate, go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna get on Texas State after this. We got to start a new season, so it'll be exciting. But yeah, man, what? So what year is it in this fantasy league?
It's Madden 23. So,
Like, what's the year in the franchise?
oh, this is year 2 of the franchise.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fun, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a couple more Find Your Inner Pirates. Mr. Skittles, DK Metcalf, his fantasy value has found his inner pirate. If George Pickens is out of
Yeah.
there, I love him. As long as they can get Rodgers, I think that's gonna be something to target for sure. Mr. Skittles, your boy. Also, got to shout out this North Texas Tollway Safety Service guy. Uh, his name is Meckelman. Me- McColeman. I think that's how you said it. Shout out to him, man, because this week at work I had a tire blowout on me, and I had to get They thought I was gonna have to come get towed, but he came and helped me put a spare tire on. So shout out to McColeman.
Shout out McColeman. That's
Huge,
huge.
huge, bro. Also wanted to shout out Josh Gage, our former pledge director,
Oh, yeah.
or whatever he's called. He looks at all my stuff, and I just wanted to shout him out on the pod.
Nice.
It's just he used to put the fear of God in us.
He did. Great.
I'd love I'd love
Honestly,
to have him on.
he was a great discipliner. I mean, it's one of those guys that you've got to have around because
Yeah.
if Josh Gage wasn't around, everything could have gone to shit. But you need to have you need to have the Josh Gage, the overhead threat that scares you away from doing shit that you shouldn't be up to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out
He
Josh
really
Gage.
he really would put on a performance, man, when he would get around us. I mean, he would just go into because I remember one time the boys we had this thing. It might have been Haley's house, but there was this pool party type thing, and remember the boys got a circle with him and had a nice chat with Josh Gage.
Yeah.
He respects it, but when he had to put on, I mean, he would put the fear of God in us. I
Oh
mean, he
yeah.
really would. So shout out to him.
Shout out. Is that it for your Find Your Inner Pirates?
Yeah, you got anything else
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah, I have some. Um,
Hell yeah.
First is shout out to the rookies. They're going through mini camp. Just all of them. You know, you get all of the headlines all at once. So just a couple that I have kind of seen that might have an opportunity here.
Sure.
Shout out Bajal Tootin with the Jags. I think it's a long shot, but he could definitely rise from three on the depth chart up to
Yeah.
the top running back there. Shout out Luther
I like what
Burden.
the Jags have done this
Yeah,
offseason because he was the guy I liked late in the draft.
I've seen some great stuff from Luther Burden so far. He had a great rookie mini camp.
That's good.
Ashton Ginty took his shirt off, and the dude is just absolutely ripped. The calves, the calves are insane.
Swinging his sword.
The Cavs are insane there. Ashton Ginty should be a good one. And shout out, the Browns seem to have found a couple good running backs. Sampson and Judkins. They seem to be a dynamic duo over there in Cleveland.
Yeah. Excited about Judkins especially.
Yeah. So, but just all the rookies, everyone who's fighting, and this is their first,
Yeah.
go swing your sword, rookies.
Trying to make a name for
Make a name.
themselves.
This is where it happens. So, and then um,
Love it.
my other Find Your Inner Pirate is Jerry Jones.
Yeah. We got to talk about the Pickens trade.
I mean, huge. It's a huge trade. It's headlines, it's potential big time plays, it's downfield threat, it's
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 juice.
juice. It's a guy that will, light up the blocker or light up the defender on his run blocks. Like, it is a lot of
Yeah.
juice. And I think Dak will know how to play with him. I think that's been the big thing.
Yeah. I think they'll keep him in line. Dak will be a good mediator. And if he loses his mind, he is going to lose his mind. That's just the
Yeah,
player he
yeah,
is. George Pickens. I love it. This is a classic Jerry Jones bet on the talent
right.
guy. You give up a third round pick, they better pay him now. They better keep him on the team for a while because he is going into a contract year. But I think they'll get a good effort out of Pickens. I think he'll like being a Cowboy. He'll like having that star on his helmet. And they got too many choir boys in Dallas. This is good for them to kind of bring a temper to the
I like
room.
that.
I think they need this.
I like
You
that.
know,
Well, and it's a shout out to
yeah, I was excited when I saw it. I was
good.
excited.
You deserve it. You guys in Dallas need a little bit of juice over there. So
Yeah, they need it. And this is what Jerry was talking about, substantive trade
yeah, that's what I
talks
was gonna say.
before the
He
draft.
he took his bat and he pointed it into the outfield before he swung it, and then everyone called his bluff and said, "Yeah, substantial my ass. It's gonna be another fourth rounder for a shitty Panthers receiver." But he swung his sword and he found his inner pirate there. Shout out Jerry.
Okay. Good call, Drew. Yeah, shout out to Jerry. Let's end on negativity like we always do. Walking the
Yeah.
plank. For me, Justin Tucker walking the plank.
Yeah.
Released this week. He's out on the streets now. I mean, it's so obvious now looking back on it, knowing what we know with these allegations that he knew this was coming down the pipe. That's why he was so terrible last
Probably,
year.
yeah.
I mean, I think it was in the back of his mind with every kick, and he just was. They said it's performance related, and you can't really disagree. You can't really call them out because he wasn't very good last
Yeah.
year. So yeah, and who knows if this stuff he could if you get a blackball, he could be done in the league. He's old now too, so and everybody. I mean, he's the best kicker of all time, pretty much. Like, is he gonna get in the Hall of Fame?
No, I think it's done after his past couple of years, and especially this. I think this will be the
Wow.
nail in the coffin over there.
Yeah, you're probably right. So Justin Tucker walking the plank,
Yep.
man. What about you? I got a couple more, but I'll throw it to
Yeah.
you.
Well, I'll start off with one of them I have here, Derek Carr. This was a very interesting one because Derek Carr, he tried to make the Saints walk the plank, and the Saints were trying to make him walk the plank. And they no, this was a fun little battle that Derek Carr ended up losing. This did not come out of nowhere, Jay. This has been, and Mike Florio has been all over this one. It's been a Mike Florio special. It's
Yeah.
basically, so Derek Carr, they think, kind of is over exaggerating this injury. And it's because he has like some guarantee in his contract due to injury. And the Saints wanted to get rid of him, but they couldn't do it if he was injured like this. And so
Wow.
it's come out to like a big fight. It's about the money sort of thing, and it's about being able to have a spot on the
Yeah.
team. And I think the Saints have been trying to say, no, Derek, we're moving on from you. And I think this past couple of weeks has been him saying, like hell you are. You're not moving on from me. And he even went on to his church. He spoke at church for like 15 minutes about football and why is the Lord doing this to me? But it's been a fascinating public
Yeah.
negotiation that they're doing over there, and Saints ended up to where I saw there was a little tweet. There was somebody plugged in who said, "Hey, look, actually both sides get to save face because the Saints get to keep, the salary cap space, and Derek Carr gets to keep what he earned last year. They're not going to try and claw back, which is
Yeah.
apparently what they were going to do. They were going to
That's
claw.
crazy.
And so it's just a fascinating. They had their they had him out on the edge of the plank. They had a freaking staff shoved up his back and saying, "Go overboard, Derek." And he said, "Not so fast." And he tried to grab the staff from him and pull him down with him, but Saints successfully kicked him overboard.
Wow. Yeah, Florio's been the man on the money with this thing this whole time. You've been dialed in. And yeah, just what a career, and career's over, man. I really liked him on the Raiders, being a closet Raiders fan. There was a year where he was an MVP candidate. There, took him to the playoffs. But he just lacked that it factor. He never had that it factor, Derek Carr. So,
Yeah.
and he wasn't a guy that was gonna age gracefully either. Can't really move, and so I'm not shocked he's giving it up. But I am. It was surprising. Like, wow, it was that bad, huh? He's just calling it quits.
No, I
So,
don't think it was. I do think it was a fight about money with the Saints,
yeah.
and he gets to keep the cash, whereas they were going to try and take it back from him from last year. So
Saints are ruthless.
it is it is ruthless.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Couple baseball ones for me real quick. Charlie Morton's walking the plank. Old man Charlie Morton. He's 0-7 with an 8.82 ERA.
Wow.
I mean, give it up, bro. We're just in early May and the dude's 0-7.
Wow.
I mean, he's on pace to be like 0-40 this year if they keep him in the rotation. So something's got to give with that. Also walking the plank for me, this guy that fell at a. Did you see this guy that fell at a Pirates game earlier
Yes.
this year?
Yeah.
Taven Markwood's bones are walking the plank. He says everything is broken.
Oh my God. His
The poor guy
bones.
took a tough tumble, man, and everything's broken, so his bones are walking the plank.
I love your walking the planks. I told Mosh about scams walking the planks.
Yeah.
These are hilarious.
What about you? You got anything else?
Yeah, my last one walking the plank is the Browns, Jay.
Oh no.
I mean, I know I talked him up on their running backs, but just another week of some shitty headlines for the Browns. First off, they've got some fat reporter that after Dylan Gabriel's press conference, the fat reporter goes up to the front in front of the cameras and whatever. I think he's just thinking that they turned the cameras off. That doesn't happen. He goes
Uh-huh.
up on stage and he mouths to his buddies, the other reporters. He says, "I'm taller than him. I'm taller than Dylan Gabriel. I'm taller than him." And he keeps mouthing that and like, dude, you're also 3 times the body mass index of him. And it's just not a good look. It's not a good look for
Yeah.
a company man, a guy employed by the Browns.
Yeah.
Not a guy you want to have going up there and doing that. So there's a bad headline. And number two, Jay, which is the big one, Mason Graham, rookie minicamp,
Uh-huh.
chumming all over the field. It was too much for him, rookie minicamp, and
Oh
he looked
no. Not a good
he looked
start.
very underwhelming. If you remember last time, this was Traylon Burks' start to rookie minicamp was the puking and the not looking great. Jay,
The
they
Jags are
had
gonna win that trade.
they had they had Travis Hunter right in their hands. Which, by the way, I should have put Travis Hunter on the Find Your Inner Pirate because he sat next to an old lady on the airplane who had no idea who he was, and he was helping her bag up. He was being so kind and smiling,
What a
and she
guy.
took
What a
she took
guy.
a picture with him and posted like this sweet man. Everyone's like, "That's fucking Travis Hunter, lady." Like, you sat next to a
He,
star.
he's incredible, man. He's a culture shifter. I mean, he's really gonna be the real deal for the Jags, I think.
The Browns could have had him. And they
Yeah.
got cute with it. They traded back just a couple of spots and they took a way lesser talent in Mason Graham. And if Mason Graham turns out to be a bust, this is a huge, huge miss.
Yeah. I think you're right. For sure, man. Yeah, Cleveland's just dysfunctional. It's just what they do. So Browns are gonna Brown.
Yeah.
So hopefully Mason Graham can get in shape, can clean up the puke, and hopefully if he meets a lady, not old lady, he's nice to them like Travis Hunter
Well,
was.
Jay, I mean, I'm to the point here where, I love the chaos. I'm going to root hard against Mason Graham just because I want to see this deep regret. I want Travis Hunter to be a star and I want Mason Graham to just be one of the worst picks that you could have had, just to just to get some pain from an NFL fan base out there.
Yeah,
I'll
I feel
I'll
that. It's just a
I'll root
circus
against the
in
kid's
Cleveland.
success.
Good call. Walk the plank. I like it. All right, man. We'll wrap up there. Go find your inner pirate, Drew. Go swing your sword this week.
Always.
All right, good stuff. We'll talk again next week,
All
man.
right,
Jay.
Jay.
Uh, yeah, we'll talk about it all later. Peace out,
Peace.
brother.